Money, money, money. Let's talk about the cost of living in Greensboro and Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You may be thinking about moving to the area and wondering, what are the real costs of living in the Triad area of North Carolina? So let's pull away the curtain and get into it. Now, in this video, we are going to talk about housing costs, transportation costs, and the salary you need to live comfortably within the Triad area of North Carolina. And we're also going to talk about the job markets in Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point. Now, if you're not new to the channel, welcome back. Thank you, fam, for rocking with me. But if you are new to the channel, I am Sir Ashley, a realtor and investor here in the Carolinas. And on this channel, we talk about all things Carolina. And we get calls, texts, emails from people just like you, DMs, people who want to buy, sell, or invest in the Carolinas. So do not hesitate to reach out. We are here to help. Now, the Triad region of North Carolina, which includes Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point, and the surrounding areas, you have Lexington, Kernersville, all of that offers a very unique value proposition for North Carolina because it is centrally located within the state and is just a little over 3 hours away from the beach and a couple hours away from the mountains. And that region is about an hour and a half from either of the major cities in North Carolina, which is Raleigh and Charlotte, North Carolina. And Greensboro itself is a host to a lot of events and concerts. The Triad isn't the center of attention for the state, but it is where everyone and everything must flow through. So let's jump right into it. According to the website Numbeo, the average cost of living index for Greensboro is 13% lower. Let me repeat that. 13% lower than the national average. That may not seem like a lot, but once you break down your monthly expenses and multiply that on the yearly basis, that number quickly adds up, and the value of living in Greensboro and the Triad area becomes very apparent. When looking at the cost of living in Greensboro and the Triad region, let's first talk about your biggest expense when it comes to living, and that is housing. Greensboro rent prices fall below the state and national averages. According to apartmentlist.com, the median rent index is $985 for a one-bedroom apartment, and for a two-bedroom apartment, it is $1,100. Now, rents in the past 2 years have skyrocketed. And in the past year alone, 1 year, there's been almost a 24% year-over-year rent growth. And that rental increase is well above the state average of 19.5% and the national average of 16.5%. And those rental increases has caused serious problems for the current residents of the Triad region. Now, I'm not being insensitive when I say this, but even with the crazy year-over-year increases in rentals, the rents in Greensboro and the Triad region is still below, or rents are still below, the national average. So it is affordable to live in the Triad region. I recently put out a video comparing Winston-Salem to Greensboro, and I shared with you my thoughts that I believe the Triad region is vastly undervalued, and home prices and rentals is one of the main reasons why I say that. Because prices are still below the national average, and you can get a lot of bang for your buck in the Triad region. Compared to other major cities in North Carolina, Greensboro rent prices are significantly lower. For example, Cary's median rent index is $1,300 for a one-bedroom apartment, and for a two-bedroom apartment, it is $1,650. And another popular North Carolina city is the state capital. And Raleigh has a median rent index of $1,215 for a one-bedroom apartment per month. And for a two-bedroom apartment, it is $1,568 a month. The Greensboro housing market and the Triad as a whole has seen steady growth, with a median home price currently at $222,000. Now, before you freak out, yes, I said only $222,000 for a median price home. Now, I have to tell you, that is not a brand new home with all the finer things you're used to. But if you want a brand new construction home, you're looking around $350,000 to $400,000. And even when you compare those prices, they're still well below the median price index for Cary, Raleigh, and Charlotte. You get a lot for your money in the Triad region. The median priced home in Cary was $581,000. In Raleigh, $399,000, and in Charlotte, $395,000, compared to the median priced home in Greensboro, $222,000. Now, let's talk about transportation and the cost of transportation in Greensboro and the Triad. Now, I have to say, public transportation in the Triad is abysmal and very dated. So please do not move down to the Triad region if you do not have a reliable vehicle for transportation, because you will be frustrated. Yes, there's Uber and Lyft, but that can get costly very quickly. But let's look at the cost of public transportation. The GTA, the Greensboro Transit Agency, says that one ride for a single rider costs $1.50. Now, for frequent riders of GTA, a one-day unlimited pass costs about $4, while a regular 31-day unlimited ride pass costs $58. So, not that much. While the GTA is likely the most cost-effective method of getting around the city of Greensboro, it is the longest and slowest way to get around town. Now, if you have a car, which I highly suggest you have if you're moving to the Triad region, and one that requires gas, according to a study done by MIT, I'll put a link to the study in the description of this video. If you are single without any kids, you will spend about $5,500 a year in transportation in Greensboro. But according to the same study, if you're a family of 4 with 2 working adults and 2 children, you will pay $12,709 for transportation in 1 year. And you'll be happy to know that gasoline prices are about 40 cents lower per gallon in Greensboro and the Triad area when compared to the national average. Now, we've looked at housing costs and transportation costs. So next, we're going to look at the cost of utilities. It doesn't make much sense if you have a home and have a car, but you don't have utilities inside your home. So let's dive into the utility cost. When calculating utilities for Greensboro and the Triad region, you have to factor in the climate and the location. Greensboro has about 10 to 15 more days of sun than the national average, and the coldest month in the Triad region is typically January, with overnight temperatures getting around 28 degrees. So yes, in the winter time, you will have to turn your heat on. Real quick, funny story. Not funny when it happened, but I can laugh about it now. Years ago, I had a vacant rental in Greensboro, and it got very cold in February. Again, it was vacant. It didn't have utilities on. The water froze in the pipes and it caused them to burst. And it was in a condo, and that pipe bursting caused thousands and thousands of dollars of damage. So please, learn from my mistake. Be sure to turn your heat on even if the home is vacant so you can avoid frozen pipes. Yes, you're in the South, but yes, it still gets cold. Back to the utility cost. Greensboro basic utilities include electricity, heating, cooling, water, and garbage. And that will cost you about $165 if you live in a 1,000 square foot apartment. And if you want internet, add about $75 to $100 to that cost as well. So for monthly utilities, you're looking at right around $265 to $300. Now let's talk about taxes. Yes, taxes. You know Uncle Sam and the state wants their tax money. Luckily, anyone looking to purchase a home in North Carolina, the effective property tax is below the national average. Now, sales tax in North Carolina is around 4.75%, but in Greensboro and the Triad region, once you add up all the sales tax, it comes out to about 6.75, because you have to add in the county and city tax to the state tax. Now, other expenses you have to look out for, especially if you're moving into the state. This isn't a Greensboro or a Triad area expense, it's a North Carolina expense. If you're moving to the state of North Carolina, you have to factor in the fact that you're going to be paying vehicle registration and vehicle property tax every single year. Yes, vehicle property tax every single year. And if you drive a luxury vehicle, that expense and property tax could get up there. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. In fact, I hate it. But it's one of those things you can't get away from if you want to live in the Carolinas. Both North and South Carolina charges property tax on your vehicle. So the big question I get is, what do I need to make as terms of money to live comfortably in Greensboro and the Triad region? First, let's talk about the living wage. The living wage in Greensboro is just over $16 per hour, which is the basic wage needed to pay for essentials such as housing, food, and necessities. Now, just remember, the living wage does not account for extra costs like dining and entertainment. If you're anything like me, you like to go out to eat occasionally, and you like to go to concerts, which Greensboro has a lot of. This living wage does not account for that. The living wage should not be the goal because it's barely getting by. The national salary index in Greensboro is just under $58,000 per year. Now remember that the living wage salary, and average salary, and the recommended salary are three very different things. To determine your recommended salary for living in Greensboro, you should follow the 25% rule. Yes, some people call it a 30% rule. I like to follow the 25% rule, meaning that your mortgage or your rental payment should not be more than 25 or 30% of your salary, your monthly salary. So let me break it down. If you make $6,400 a month, which is just under $77,000 a year, your monthly mortgage or rental should be around $1,600 a month, but no more than $1,920 a month. So if the average salary in Greensboro is $58,000 a year, you should keep your monthly rent or mortgage payment around $1,200 to $1,450 a month. And that is very doable for a single professional working in Greensboro or the Triad region. Now, if you're a couple and have multiple kids, then you need multiple incomes, or somebody should have a higher paying job in order to meet the averages as far as cost of living. Top employers in the city of Greensboro is Guilford County Schools and the hospital system. There are also plenty of employment options thanks to the many local colleges and universities. You have several right in Greensboro and the Triad region. Now, as I briefly mentioned earlier, the most significant industry in Greensboro, not the entire Triad area, but in Greensboro, is the healthcare system and the social assistance system. Now, the job market in Greensboro, North Carolina, and the Triad region as a whole is very diverse and growing. There's tons of companies and Fortune 500 companies moving to the area. Greensboro is home to various industries, which makes Greensboro and the Triad region one of the better places to be insulated during a recession because it doesn't rely solely on one industry or one employer. The Triad region is known for its strong business climate and supportive community. It is also a great place to make a living and to work. Also, I must note, in 2022, North Carolina ranked #1 as the #1 state to do business in. So a lot of businesses are coming to North Carolina, and the most affordable region that's also a metropolitan in North Carolina is the Triad region. So if you're interested in moving to a city and region that is full of art, nature, and Southern charm, Greensboro and the Triad region might be the place for you. With a relatively low cost of living and being centrally located, it's hard not to take advantage of what the Triad region has to offer. If you're wanting to buy, sell, or invest in Greensboro or the Triad region, don't hesitate. Reach out to my team and I. We've helped thousands of people move to the Carolinas. We look forward to hearing from you. My name's Sir Ashley. Talk soon.